Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and normally I spend time talking about our habits, how our habits impact our sleep, what are the things that we can do to change our habits, what are the habits we can change today. But today I'm actually going to talk about the things that are not habits, the things that you can tweak one or two of these things tonight and maybe get a better sleep. I've come up with a list for today of 8 things. This is not exhaustive. I might expand on this later, but for now, I've got 8 key things that I want you to pay attention to and sort of evaluate for yourself to figure out what might you change, adjust, find a new one to help improve your sleep right away. So, number one is your mattress. My grandfather always used to say that a person needs to invest in 3 things: a good pair of shoes, a good chair, and a good mattress. And I don't think he was wrong. The quality of your mattress can really drastically impact how you sleep at night. And there are kind of 2 key things that you want to take into account when you're looking for a mattress. So number one is the firmness, and number two is the material it's made out of. So depending on your weight and depending on your sleep position, so if you're a stomach sleeper who's very light or a side sleeper who's on the heavier side, that can change what sort of firmness you might need and the material you might need. Unfortunately, a mattress is not you know, one that works for everybody. So you might need to experiment with this. You can go to a mattress store and try different ones. Really, what you want is something that you find comfortable. If you can find a material that is going to help keep you cool, because there are some mattresses that have that as an option, or material that is more likely to help keep you cool, that can be really great. But something that's not going to aggravate pain. So if you're someone who routinely suffers from the shoulder pain or hip pain or back pain, lower back pain in particular, a good mattress can make or break a good night's sleep for you. So making sure that your mattress is comfortable, not hurting you, and of great quality. Also to note that your mattress needs to be replaced on a somewhat regular schedule. It does depend again on what it's made of and to some extent your weight. If you're on the heavier side or lighter, it might wear out sooner. On the lighter side, you might be able to keep it for longer. But typically, like a spring mattress is going to need to be replaced every 7 to 8 years, whereas a memory foam or latex mattress might last you 9 to 10. Very individual, but just something to keep in mind. If it's been a few years since you've replaced your mattress, it might be something you want to look into. Number two is your pillow. Your pillow is another really important part of how you sleep. And what type of pillow you get, or you try, or you use, is really going to depend on your favorite sleeping position. So if you're a back sleeper, the whole goal of a pillow is to keep your spine in line. So it's to make sure that your neck is not holding too much tension and that your spine is relatively straight from all the way from your neck down your back. So if you're a back sleeper, you want a pillow that's a little bit thicker and fuller because you don't want your head to lull back too far. But also having a really thick pillow is going to kind of crank your neck forward, which is going to be hard on your neck muscles. So finding that right pillow that's going to support you just in the right angle is really key for a back sleeper. Side sleepers tend to put a lot of weight, but not tend to, they do put a lot of weight on their shoulders. So getting a nice pillow, again, it's going to be a full pillow with kind of medium support. A back pillow tends to be a little bit firmer support. So a side sleeper will need a pillow with a medium support that's a little bit thicker to kind of take some of the stress off their shoulders. But again, you want to make sure that your head is in line. You don't want your neck to be too far one way or the other way when you're sleeping. And then sleeping on your stomach is one of the most difficult positions to keep your spine in a neutral position. So definitely a flatter, softer pillow if you're a stomach sleeper, that will help to keep your neck sort of in the right position. Also, something to note is on your side, if you're a side sleeper, having a pillow in between your knees can help keep your lower back and hip and spine aligned properly. Similarly, if you sleep on your back, putting a pillow underneath your knees can help kind of prop that up as well. So you can use pillows obviously for your head, but you can also use pillows in different ways to kind of support you where you need it. And that can really help decrease pain, either upper, neck, shoulders, tension or pain, or lower back and hips. Number three is the temperature of your bedroom. Our body temperature needs to drop by about 1 degree Celsius in order to fall asleep. So if your bedroom is too hot for that, it is going to make it harder to fall asleep. definitely err on the side of too cold in your bedroom at night. No, not too cold, but cold enough in your bedroom at night to make sure your body temperature drops to where you want it to be. And then you can layer up. You can layer pajamas, you can layer sheets and comforters and all of duvets, whatever it is you need, that can kind of help you regulate your temperature through the night. So making sure your bedroom temperature, your thermostat isn't set too high is a really key feature. And number four, which ties in very closely to this, is how hot are you? Because even if your bedroom temperature is down low, if you've got all sorts of duvets and quilts piled up on top of you, you might just be physically too hot. It's not uncommon to get warm and in some cases too hot as the night wears on. So, wearing layers that you can kind of remove, or using, layers of bedclothes that you can take off as you need to, can be really helpful to help regulate your temperature. This doesn't really dive into the whole issue of night sweats and perimenopause and menopause, because hormone changes drastically impact our temperature at night. That's another thing. I'll have to do a whole separate thing on that for another day. But just know that being very aware of your temperature and making sure that your room is at the right temperature, and that you're not in sheets that are too hot, and you don't have like a heated blanket that's going to be making you really hot. Making sure all those are at the right temperature for you is a really important factor to help you sleep better. Number five is your breathing. If you find that most mornings or often you wake up and you're kind of congested, so if your throat is dry and your sinuses are really congested and it's hard to breathe through your nose, it's possible that you have allergies. Now, allergies in the bedroom area tend to come from either environmental. So if it's an allergy season and there's a lot of pollen or ragweed in the air, that can cause a lot of congestion, or from the bed itself. So dust mites are a pretty common culprit for allergies. To prevent dust mites, you can use a hypoallergenic mattress cover and a hypoallergenic pillowcase cover. So that can help reduce the dust mites that you're exposed to on a nightly basis. Also, changing your pillow up on somewhat of a regular basis, usually every at least couple of years, can really help to decrease the exposure to dust mites. So if you find that you're often congested, just being aware of what you might be allergic to. If it is allergy season, keeping your windows closed to prevent that ragweed and pollen from coming in. Make sure as well that you change the filter on your furnace yearly. That can really help decrease the allergens in the air. And having your air ducts cleaned annually or every couple years can also help decrease the allergens in the air that you're being exposed to. A couple of solutions, if this is something that's often a problem for you, is a breathe right strip. So those, or something similar. So those are strips that you can stick to your nose, and they kind of just widen your nose while you sleep, and they can just increase the space to let more air flow through your nose. Another option is a nasal rinse or a neti pot or anything like that, like a sinus rinse. That has two benefits. So number one, it's going to clear out your sinuses to let you kind of breathe better throughout the night. But it's also, if you are prone to allergies, going to eliminate a lot of the allergens in your sinus passages, and decrease your essentially reactive allergies that might happen overnight. So doing an evening kind of sinus rinse can be really helpful to cut down on the allergies that you're experiencing, because when you can breathe better, especially through your nose, you're going to sleep better. Number six, what are the lights in your bedroom like? So any lights at all in your bedroom. That might mean a night light, a light from a clock, light from screens, light from a street light outside, anything that's light from the moon, maybe. Any light that's in your bedroom can interfere with your sleep. We know that light decreases melatonin production, and that makes sleep harder. So making your bedroom as dark as possible. So unplugging those night lights, turning off the screens. If you have a clock, even just turning it around. Those can all be really helpful. Getting blackout curtains to shut out any light that might be coming in from outside. Getting your bedroom as dark as possible is going to help improve your sleep. And seven, which kind of ties into this as well, is what screens are in your bedroom. So do you have a TV? Do you have your phone? Do you have your tablets? Do you have your computer? I recommend always 0 screens in the bedroom. Use the screens down, like in the living room area, or if you have downstairs, upstairs, or wherever it is, use the screens there, but leave them out of the bedroom. Number one, the light from the screens can bother you. And number two, it Screens can be anxiety producing. If you are watching the news in bed before you go to bed every night, that can actually spike your cortisol. If you're checking your social media and I don't know, you see something that you don't really love, that can spike your cortisol. So, leaving screens out of the bedroom is a recommendation that I make all the time. And if that's the only thing that you change tonight, chances are you're going to have an improved sleep over the next little while. Just cutting out that bedtime screen use or screen use in beds can be a drastic help for sleeping. And my last point for today, eighth and final point for today, is what else are you using your bed for? So if you're using your bed as a desk and a meeting space and a Zoom background and a table and a workspace, that can make it really hard to sleep in it. We really should just be using our beds for sleep and sex, the activities that happen in the bedroom, and that's it. Even if you have just like a one bedroom apartment or like a bachelor apartment where there's really no separation between rooms, have just a different space, a couch, a table, anything where you can actually just go work. Keeping that bed, that space sacred for sleep, maybe reading too, I would add, would be another activity that can happen in the bed. But keeping it sacred for just those activities is going to make you more likely to be able to fall asleep when you get to that space because your mind becomes adjusted to associating that with sleep exclusively or sex or reading, but mostly sleep. When you become able to associate it with sleep alone, that can really help to kind of trigger your mind to say, oh, it's time for sleep now. Here's our bed. Let's go to sleep. So those are my top recommendations for right now that are non-habit things that you can look at and tweak and change and adjust tonight to improve your sleep. If I forgot one, or if there's something else that you're thinking of that really you changed that really helped improve your sleep, throw a comment below. I'd love to know what it is. Happy to answer any questions you might have around sleep, and I hope you have a great sleep tonight.